Enough members to start off this meeting, so I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. It is 5:31 p.m. and we are at City Hall for the regular meeting of the Rio Grande City EDC. So at this time, I will start with item number 1, call to order, invocation and pledge of allegiance. I'll have an invocation by Mr. Lopez and the pledge of allegiance by Mr. Carrera.
Lord, we thank you for all the blessings you bestowed upon all our families and our great city of Rio Grande. We ask you to please continue blessing us, please continue guiding us in the right direction as our city is growing. We ask this in your name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Item number 2, roll call and finding of a quorum.
Ms. Dalinda Guillen,
Present.
Linda Davila, Mario Mendez,
Present.
Fred Lopez,
Present.
Ediel Barrera,
Present.
Jose Garza,
Present.
David Reina,
Present.
Sarah Hernandez,
Here.
Adriana Torres,
Here.
Melinda Gomez,
Here.
Yanderi de la Cruz, and
Yes. Okay, so it looks like we do have a quorum of your board of directors. So at this time, I will go ahead and proceed to item number 3. Item number 3 is something new to this packet. It is a conflict of interest reminder. I think that it's important, as noted previously, by our board member, Mr. Lopez, having brought this up, that we remind everybody at the beginning of the meeting if there's any conflict of interest that needs to be disclosed, that we make sure that we bring it up at this point of the meeting. And also during the meeting itself, if we get to that agenda item and you need to disclose a conflict, and at that point, take the steps necessary to abstain. But nonetheless, there's a lot of information here in this section, and there's a conflict of interest disclosure statement on there. So if and when you have a conflict to disclose, you're required to submit this to Sarah or legal. I don't know, Marty, is there anything else that we need to add to that?
No.
Okay. So in the future, what we can do is not have to add everything on here, just have the questionnaire that needs to be signed. And that way we eliminate so much paperwork, but nonetheless disclose any conflict. And if you have questions about conflict, legal's always here to answer those questions for us. Okay?
Okay.
So are there any conflicts to disclose at this point in the meeting, with anything on the agenda? No? Okay. Very well. Item number 4, public forum. Do we have anyone signed up for public forum? No?
No.
All right. Item number 5, approval of minutes from the previous meeting. I'll go ahead and give you a moment to, oh, I don't have it in my packet, but I read through it online. I'm sorry. It is there.
Madam President, if there's no changes to the meetings, to the meeting minutes, I so move that we approve as is.
We have a motion to approve the
second.
minutes. We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it. Item number 6 is discussion and possible action to approve the small business grant application requirements. Ms. Hernandez?
Yes, in your packet is a copy of a draft business development grant application for your review. As mentioned in our workshop, this was a new initiative that we wanted to start up so that we could reach businesses not solely in the Main Street district, but throughout the city limits. So we looked at other applications from surrounding cities, and I also looked at the Texas EDC for some guidance, and we went ahead and updated our application to include some information on the eligibility, the qualifications, and the types of improvements. So seeking your guidance if this application is approved as is, or if there's any modifications so that we can begin to solicit applications.
So when you say, you mentioned that you made some updates to it, what specifically did you change?
We started with the template that we had for the Main Street facade application, because I felt that did have a lot of specification as far as the qualifications and the things. So we used that as a template to create this, but of course added different types of improvements, not just facade.
Ms. Hernandez, do we have this application already on the EDC page or the city page?
No, because this is a draft. I'm waiting for it to get approved by
Okay.
this board so that we can start advertising and taking applicants.
Great.
At this point, we reserved monies for 3 applicants, and I've had some individuals already reach out to our office, so they may have heard of some of the good news. So I have an impression that this is gonna go rather quickly.
Did you put those $15,000 aside from the budget or from?
Aside from the Main Street, yes.
Oh,
So the
okay.
Main Street has for 4 applicants, and then this program, since we're starting it off, has to
3.
assist 3 businesses.
Three
So in
businesses.
total, we helped
Total of
7
7.
businesses in the year, yes.
And did we, I don't remember, did we decide 3 or how
Yes.
did we decided 3?
Yes, when we looked at the budget and we were balancing the budget,
Okay.
I
So
know
we-
me and Mrs. Guillen worked on that, and we decided on those monies so that we could.
On
balance.
15,000. right?
So that would be 3 applications of 5,000.
5,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
15,000.
But again, if we see that that goes, like I
Works.
mentioned, rather quickly,
We
we
can-
could always amend the budget to add more money.
Because I'm pretty sure that they're gonna go by quick if you already have people.
Well, it's not necessarily, it's up to 5,000. So if you do one for 2,500, you can literally do another one for 2,500. But it is, you know, I think,
Right, it's a matching grant at this time.
yeah,
So having looked at this, the only, and I know that there is a demand for it, and as you mentioned, that there are customers that want, or businesses that would like to get some support, and that is something that this board has remained very adamant about helping our small businesses. So the only thing about this here is that we have, from what I can see, we have on page 17 of 72, this is the list of those grants that we had established way back when. And so you have something like, for example, the Main Street facade, we know that one is a highly sought after and used grant. The one that I think is, and I don't know if you have, you know, information to share on these other folks that have come out to see you, but building an infrastructure, because most, if not all the time that businesses come to us, small businesses come to us for some support, it's because they need to make some improvements or enhancements to their property, and they're outside of the Main Street district, right? So the building and infrastructure is similar to what the Main Street grant is, but it just kind of goes outside of the Main Street district to provide support with those type of repairs.
Yes, because I believe that the Main Street is more of a facade grant, so it's everything from the exterior, and this would help them with some of the interior.
Right. Now, the other ones, I personally feel, are not something that we're ready to jump into yet, because those would probably be maybe refined a little bit further as far as the qualifications go, like the expedited business permitting, or the job creation grant. That's a perfect one there too. That one, it's a really hard one to get, you know, businesses to comply with, but my personal recommendation is that if we approve this, that, and based on the requirements that you have listed here, the application, everything points to the building and infrastructure.
Yes, this is just an overview of the grant programs that have been offered in the past.
Right.
So it's just to show these are ways that we've helped businesses in the past, and if we want to add funding into some of these, right now we have for Main Street facade, and we're looking at putting for building and infrastructure.
so what do we have for any business for building and infrastructure, these grants? We give out a grant, they come up with a good application, and, you know, we approve it. And then 6 months later, it doesn't, you know, they don't do anything.
There's a payback on page 22.
Okay, that's what I was
Which is
looking
page
for.
8 of the application. So.
How do we pursue payback? That would probably go through legal,
Yeah.
and
Because this
and we
is
would
just
have to
the
sign a
application.
contract of some
Yes.
sort and have some type of collateral.
This is just the application, so should we get an applicant that goes through the process, then they sign a contract, and that
Right.
has all of that. So this is just the application.
Right.
Okay.
It's important that in the application, you make mention that, you know, like here, you have to have, I think.
At least 2 years worth,
Right,
2 years worth of business going.
right. And if it falls below that, then that's where you have that recapture clause. And those are required for us to have to make sure we're not just giving away money, that we're having some way of collecting it if there's, you know, non-compliance on the business.
Yes, and similar to the facade, any applicant will be coming to this board to present for approval at the discretion of the board.
Ms. Hernandez,
And once again, these are on a reimbursement basis.
Right.
You know,
Ms. Hernandez, did we get the information from the previous couple 2 months ago?
They did not, so I did reach out prior to this meeting
Okay,
to see if they had collected the additional quotes as requested, and they had not. So
Okay.
for that reason, I didn't add it.
And this has the same stipulations on there that they're asked to bring in up to 3
Yes.
estimates from contractors to perform work. Now, the the applicant selects the contractor.
Yeah,
Something
so-
that will help a lot is, Ms. Hernandez, if you can help out the applicants, you know,
Yes,
it's.
and we
difficult.
do, we
I mean,
typically do, yeah.
A lot of people might qualify for this, but they don't know, they get scared, they think that it's very difficult, they might not know where their information is. It is simple, I mean, you could take just, you know,
It's mostly based on them bringing in the quotes and being up to date. If they are already an established business, just, you know, verifying that they're up to date with their taxes.
okay.
And then as far as the questions on the application, they're just like, describe what work you're gonna do and what the need is, what's your financial need. So we are available, I try to make myself available and I'm committed to that should we have an applicant and they need assistance, we're here to help them fill it out. Because we want them to go through, we want them to pass.
Are there any other questions or comments regarding this information in front of you?
Well, when, Ms. Hernandez, when providing an estimate on behalf of the clients, I would recommend that you would be able to provide a work order. You know, go out there, do the inspection, just, if they're gonna replace 10 windows and a door, provide a form where they can put the material and the labor, and that form they can give it to all the contractors, so the bids can be uniform, so they can be bidding, you know, apples against apples, you know.
Yes, and I know that you and I discussed that about having at least a uniform form that we're asking the contractors to fill out so that the material's divided, the labor's divided, and we have a better description of the project.
Yes,
And do we have?
That would be part of the
No, we
packet
just
that
had
we
that
give them
conversation.
when they apply.
okay.
So if we put down a checklist, or not a checklist, a list of, you know, you guys, construction, you guys pretty much know what it entails to do a remodeling, 2x6s, 2x10s, even if they're not needed, but they're gonna need, okay, I'm gonna need 4 2x6s, 10 2x4s, whatever it is. List all the material on that checklist for part of the packet. Like that, they can take that to different areas and say, okay, this is what I need this is what I want. If the contractor, if Mario's gonna he's gonna be the contractor for it, he's gonna tell the customer and say, hey, you're gonna need this amount of each item.
Well,
If,
Mr. Reyna
if
had
the owner,
offered
if the
to,
owner is gonna, or the program is gonna pay the contractor directly, or they pay the homeowner, or I'm sorry, not the homeowner.
the owner of the
it's
business
applicant,
pays the
right?
contractor, and then they submit the receipts and everything over to us for reimbursement.
Wouldn't the contractor be responsible to provide that material list
Right.
and the labor part of it versus the versus?
No,
the
that,
owner?
you give them the list, you give them you know, because they're gonna look for other bids, right? I mean, we're helping them, I don't know, I've never done a remodeling or anything.
I think
but
an itemized.
a contractor can come and say, you need this, and the other one says, you don't really
To
need it.
provide,
That
to
itemized,
provide the
because the
applicant.
contractor has to provide, they can probably give them the scope of work.
Right.
And then they would provide the labor, the material, and what is gonna be needed.
The material needed.
Yeah, but that would be the contractor.
That would be
because
the contractor,
The owner themselves probably don't have an idea of all of the material that's gonna entail.
It's like
Exactly.
when we do projects for infrastructure, and I speak now because there's an engineer in the
That's-
room.
that's-
Same concept, but
Same
on a
thing.
tiny scale, right?
Right.
I mean, but I think it's necessary that that is also streamlined. Because right now, an applicant can just hire whoever, or go to whoever they want, go to any store, and then just bring in a list of items that probably do not even pertain to that particular project.
Right. And so, because a contractor would be the one to put this information together, are we requiring that they have to have a contractor?
Yes, because they gotta follow they gotta follow the codes of the city codes.
I would recommend that they hire a contractor, and
Yeah, they gotta be
That has to
bonded
be-
too.
a local,
As long as they get, they meet the city codes and.
Being that we're gonna we're gonna reimburse you, I mean, we want something that's gonna last, you know, I would say.
versus them probably getting the money and hiring handyman.
No, they won't get the money before. They have to pay everything and then
Then-
come in and get a reimbursement up to $5,000.
So just to, some of it is obviously contractual work, but there's, parking lot improvements, landscaping, painting, so, depending on the level,
Yeah, I would say so.
they might not need a full-blown contractor to paint the interior of their building,
Well, there's a lot of smaller contractors too in their community, you know,
Yeah.
they don't have to be like a large contractor. I mean, there's dozens and dozens of small contractors that specialize in that kind of work, you know, doing small renovations. So, just something to consider. Maybe adding that work order for each
I
applicant.
know you said you were gonna share, like a
Yeah, I wasn't
template,
able to,
right?
but I can provide a
Yeah.
sample of it if you want. I
And
can-
that way, when we request these quotes, we have a
Yeah.
uniform.
Just to give you an idea, the previous applicant, I was looking at the material description, and, you know, in my opinion, it was a little bit inflated because they had 200 pieces of lumber and each piece was 16 feet long. If you were to align them, it would be over half a mile long, you know, just to put it into perspective, right? So it's easy to manipulate and inflate the proposal, right?
Right.
And so by putting a form like that, that minimizes that chance of an applicant, you know, trying to go that route.
Yes, but
So we
it
gotta
still
protect-
needs that, and someone to check, obviously, that has that experience with the construction work, like yourself, that
Lucky for us,
says.
we've got some.
And we can do it.
Yes, because, to one of us, is, I don't know what the.
Yeah, that's what I
material
noticed
would
right
take.
away,
Yeah.
yeah, so it wasn't excessive.
Good evening, if I may add to that, you can put it if need be, because some projects will go over 5,000 square feet, that's when you actually need an
Oh,
engineer, not just a
engineer.
contractor. So at that point, you definitely wanna know want somebody who knows what he's doing. So I guess as needed, you can have that.
I think
So
that's,
just-
I don't think we should make it too difficult for the
Yeah.
applicant if it's a small
Yeah, because
project versus a bigger
it's
project.
different, a certified engineer versus, somebody who just wanna do a paint, facade paint.
It's like the USDA program, they provide
Yes,
$7,500 grants,
Yeah.
and they issue out a work order. So
Let's
we
look at
can
that.
follow that.
Yeah, I mean, there's,
So there's the applicant, and then we can look at how we're gonna want those,
I can send you a sample
Yeah.
in the next few days.
that'd be good.
anything else? Okay. So then, the motion for this item is to
That's it?
approve the small business grant application requirements, and that it be noted, at least I'm asking that it be noted that we're being specific to this program of business and infrastructure, building and infrastructure, so that these
Okay.
grants are for that specific purpose. As we move along and we see the demand and the need for some of these other ones, then we can come back to the table and look at those separately. But for now, based on the application in front of us, we have everything that we need to proceed with the building and infrastructure.
Okay, I move motion to approve the small business grant application requirements for building and infrastructure.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Motion carries. All right, we've got item number 7, financial report.
In your packet is a copy of our financial report, where November is the second month, representing 8.33% of our fiscal year. So we were able to get the figures for, to close out the previous year budget from October to September. And then on page 32, you'll see now for October and November. So the allocation to the EDC during the month of October was 119,314.34, and in November, 135,677.46. And I know our financial director is here, Finance Director Leonel Cantu, so if you have any further questions.
Any questions for Ms. Hernandez or Mr. Cantu?
We're in the right trend, going up, right?
Yes.
I know that,
recall last meeting, I said there's we've been seeing a trend where one year we see a high increase in sales taxes, the other year we see a low increase, always increase, but it seems like this year's been the high. We're at 12% increase, and last year we're 31% for the first 2 months, so we're in a good position. So hopefully we can follow that trend and see a 12% at the end of the year.
We're gonna continue to increase.
all right, well, it's still very new, the fiscal year's still very new, but we do have a lot of projects ahead, and as long as the business activity continues to grow, we'll continue to see those tax numbers increase for us. So, all right, this is just for discussion only, there's no action required. Thank you, Ms. Hernandez, thank you, Mr. Cantu. I am going to ask for a motion to reorder this agenda to move into executive session. We have a few items to discuss there, so I would like to ask this board for a motion to reorder the agenda to go to item number 9, executive session.
I so move.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, item number 9, executive session, chapter 551, Texas Government Code 551-071, consultation with attorney, section 551-087, deliberations regarding economic development negotiations, section 551.072, real estate, and section 551-074, personnel matters. Item A, consultation with attorney regarding legal matters and deliberation of economic development negotiations and information received from Business Prospect 2023-5 under Texas Government Code Section 551.087. Consultation with attorney regarding several legal matters, Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. Consultation with attorney regarding personal matters, Section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code. And consultation with attorney regarding the possible lease, sale, or purchase of real property, section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code. It is 5:56 p.m., and we will go into executive session.
She's sitting
Is she there? I need someone to her. Lynette. Like what? are back from executive session. It's 7:29 PM. And there is no action on items A, B, C, or D. And I'd like, for the record, to reflect that Ms. Davila came into our meeting at 5:39 PM, so that she's shown on record as having attended today's meeting. And with there be no further discussion.
Madam President, you can go ahead and put it on the record, just so it reflects all of it. That Mr.
Okay, all right. Okay. Regarding item number 10, also for the record, I would like to note that Mr. Mendez abstained from discussion and deliberation over item A. Sure. And that should be it for item number 10. We are going to just limit the executive director's report back on item number 8 to a very brief announcement of some upcoming events so that you are informed.
Yes, so this Thursday, we're gonna have our first business breakfast club, small business seminar. I know, again, this was something that we talked about, the workshop, trying to do something more for our small businesses. So we have promoted that. We'll be at Fabi's on Thursday at 8:30. Hopefully you all can join us tomorrow. I mean, Thursday. I'm like, so, yes, so during this small business seminar, we're gonna help people get on Google. So for small businesses that are still not registered on Google, we're gonna be taking them through the steps and doing it there. So they get out of that breakfast accomplishing something.
And that's at Fabi's on Thursday, correct?
That's Fabi's on Thursday, and then we're ready to kickstart our Christmas holiday too. So we have the Christmas tree lighting happening. We have the Christmas on Main Street. That's that market that we're doing at the Triple L, and we already started helping them with the material purchase to fix the building. And then we have our Christmas parade and Feast of Sharing. So I'm gonna be sending you all a calendar with all the upcoming events, because it's very packed and busy.
So look out for an email from Sarah or Adriana with those dates and information.
Yes.
The rest of the executive director's packet is for you to review at your leisure. I think.
And I included some stats, just so you can see what other EDCs are doing with their budget. So that's something that you might wanna look into.
Some light reading.
Yes.
For everyone.
Yes.
All right, then, with there being no further discussion, item 11 is adjournment. Do we have a
So
motion
moved.
to adjourn?
Second.
A second? We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. It is 7:32 PM.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.